Hello, everyone. Nostradamus, the famous French prophet, predicted a severe economic recession in 2025. As tensions rise, the question emerges. Can the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, alter the global geopolitical landscape to restore the economy? Recently, Trump announced he would not accept a presidential salary if re-elected, a decision coinciding with an already ongoing economic downturn post-COVID-19. Speculations around the magnitude of this recession are widespread. Nostradamus's prediction aligns with fears of a global economic slowdown with severe consequences, including food shortages. Historical predictors of catastrophe, like Baba Vanga, have also foretold crises. But for many, the immediate concern lies in the practical ramifications of economic collapse. Experts suggest 2025 may witness one of the most devastating recessions on a global scale. Analysts and researchers, such as J.P. Morgan, are sounding alarms. Their models now estimate a 35% likelihood of a recession in the U.S. and globally before the end of 2024, rising to 45% by late 2025. Slower economic growth and weakening labor markets are cited as primary factors contributing to this potential downturn. These economic struggles are expected to exacerbate food crises that are already critical, as demonstrated in 2023, when 282 million people across 59 countries faced severe food insecurity. Reports like the Global Report on Food Crises 2024 by the Global Network Against Food Crises emphasize these threats. Similarly, the Global Food Crisis in the Era of Disaster, published in June 2024 by international sustainability experts, underscores how the modern food system is unprepared for the polycrisis of today. Factors such as economic instability, the COVID-19 pandemic, escalating climate emergencies, and geopolitical conflicts have fueled the ongoing food crisis since 2019. The global economic recession that began in early 2020 caused massive unemployment, disproportionately affecting the most vulnerable populations. Even as economies showed signs of recovery by late 2021, disruptions in global supply chains resulted in persistent inflationary pressures. By mid-2022, food inflation soared by 20% in regions like Africa, Asia, Latin America, and parts of Europe, igniting a broader cost of living crisis and political unrest. Nostradamus's predictions of a global economic downturn in 2025 appear increasingly plausible as economic challenges from the COVID-19 era persist. Nations have worked toward recovery, but recession risks remain high. J.P. Morgan's analysis highlights 5 interlinked factors driving this economic crisis: a weak labor market, slowing economic growth, rising inflation, adverse climate impacts, and political instability. Combined, these factors are intensifying food insecurity worldwide. With 2025 approaching, dire predictions of global economic recession and environmental crises loom large. A pressing question arises. Can the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, shift the geopolitical balance and lead the recovery of both the U.S. and the world? The answer lies not only in political decisions but also in analyzing predictions from figures like Nostradamus. While his forecasts may not always prove accurate, his ability to foreshadow major global events remains compelling. Nostradamus predicted significant global upheavals, including the death of King Henry II, the rise of Napoleon and Hitler, and major wars and political turmoil. According to his writings, 2025 is anticipated to bring considerable challenges, particularly in economics and the environment. This raises the question of whether Donald Trump, with his bold policies, can lead a renaissance for America amid these crises. Ahead of his potential inauguration, President-elect Donald Trump has reiterated his decision to forego a presidential salary, consistent with his actions during his first term. Historically, only two former presidents, John F. Kennedy and Herbert Hoover, have donated their entire salaries to charity. Trump's move echoes this precedent, further reinforcing his image as a leader focused on America's strength rather than personal gain. Trump's refusal to accept a salary was part of his campaign commitments dating back to 2016. During his first term, he also declined the presidential paycheck, channeling funds instead toward charitable causes. While this decision aligns with his promise to prioritize the nation's interests, it has also sparked debates about his broader policies, especially his America First agenda. Nostradamus's predictions for 2025 point not only to natural disasters and economic crises, but also to a potential global recession. This leads to widespread speculation about Trump's capacity as the 47th president to address these challenges. While his focus remains on making America strong and dominant, questions persist about whether his leadership can genuinely spur a revival for both the U.S. and the world. His America First policy has faced criticism for prioritizing national interests over global cooperation. Yet, in today's interconnected world, where every country grapples with overlapping crises, the efficacy of such an inward-looking strategy remains uncertain. The global economy, already sliding into recession, raises critical questions about the impact of excessive protectionist policies. Such strategies could lead to trade conflicts and destabilize international relationships. Trade wars between major powers like the U.S. and China risk exacerbating the global economic crisis. Recent years have showcased the kind of environmental crises Nostradamus foretold, including hurricanes, typhoons, and devastating earthquakes. One of his notable predictions for 2025 emphasizes the growing severity of natural disasters and climate change. Using metaphors like the cries of nature, he hinted at phenomena such as storms, heat waves, and catastrophic flooding. Modern experts confirm the gravity of these issues, with studies indicating that global warming will continue, leading to massive losses of life and property. In August 2024, a report by the Center for American Progress, CAP, highlighted that over 8 billion people globally endured the hottest day ever recorded in July 2024. This unprecedented heat wave was primarily attributed to the extensive burning of fossil fuels, which increases atmospheric CO2 levels and accelerates global warming. Beyond environmental destruction, these climate changes intensify political tensions, disrupt food security, and fuel widespread conflict and disease. These cascading crises underscore the necessity of immediate action to reduce carbon emissions and transition to sustainable energy sources. In his 2025 Climate Promise Program, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stressed the need for global cooperation to limit the long-term rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Humanity currently emits over 40 gigatons of CO2 annually, and at this rate, the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold will be breached. By 2030, global greenhouse gas emissions must be reduced by 43% compared to 2019 levels, while fossil fuel-generated electricity must drop by 30% from its current 60%. The strategy also includes combating deforestation and tripling renewable energy capacity by the end of the decade. All major emission sectors, energy, agriculture, land use, industry, and waste, must be addressed without loopholes or half measures. Achieving the 1.5 degrees Celsius target is critical to mitigating the effects of climate change, which continue to disrupt economies and societies. The rising frequency of extreme weather events not only threatens human lives but also destabilizes economic systems, underscoring the interconnectedness of climate change and global prosperity. Whether or not Nostradamus's predictions were accurate, the pressing issues he identified, climate change and economic recession, are undeniable and pose significant threats to the future of humanity. Today's world is grappling not only with natural disasters, but also with economic and political disruptions that could upend the global order. The question remains: can President Donald Trump shift the geopolitical landscape and lead a revival of America during such a challenging year as 2025? It is clear that both President Trump and the leaders of other nations must implement decisive policies and take swift action to address these crises. International cooperation will be crucial to navigating these turbulent times. While the road ahead is fraught with difficulties, there is hope for a brighter future if humanity can come together in unity and resolve. The challenges of 2025 demand unprecedented collaboration, for without it, Nostradamus's warnings may become a stark reality. Only time will reveal the outcome, but the call to action is clear. The survival and prosperity of future generations depend on the choices made today. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. If you find the video useful, please like to support us, leave a comment to share your views, and don't forget to follow the channel so you don't miss the next meaningful content. Wishing you peace and happiness.